Designing digital work streams. Practical guide. A digital work stream is simply your business process running through computers and software. Instead of people still carrying paper up and down stairs. In today's world, it's not whether you can afford to digitize your work streams, it's whether you can afford not to. More importantly, have you even really thought about this? It's not that complicated. It's really very simple. You get hours back in your day. You get money back in your budget. You get staff doing the more valuable work, not chasing paperwork. Clients served better and faster. More sales, happier clients. Did you know that creating digital work streams or improving the ones you have takes just 7 key steps? Today I'm giving you 7 simple key steps to create new digital work processes or even to improve the ones you have. After each key step, I'll also give you one simple, easy, actionable idea that you can use today. So we're going to start by thoroughly documenting the current physical processes, the decision points, the handoffs, the exceptions, map out everything. Who does what? When? How does information flow? As you do this, you discover where you've got the bottlenecks, you discover where you've got inefficiencies, and where the physical way of doing things, for example, with so many pieces of paper, is constraining you and holding you back. But we're going to follow the paper trail, walk through the office, walk through the process with a notepad or a stack of sticky notes, and every time there's a document, a form, or a piece of information that's moving between people or locations, you make a note of it. You put a sticky note there. Write down the time. Put somebody's name on it. And gradually, you will build a map of your entire office process. By the end of 1 week, if you do this, you'll have a visual map of where things are, where they go, and who does what and how. In step 2, we want to identify the digital equivalents. So for each physical action, determine a digital equivalent. So a signature becomes an electronic approval, for example. A physical form becomes a digital input screen. And of course, your filing cabinets are just the databases in the cloud. Think how you can transform these processes. How face-to-face meetings could become Teams meetings, could become automated notifications, digital collaboration spaces, maybe in SharePoint. Think how you can do things easier, better, faster. And now you can start to actually design your automated workflow. You want to think about how you handle routing of things like approvals and notifications, who needs to be consulted about various things, how long does that take, who needs to know, why, how can they give an answer digitally within a shorter period of time. And remember that because you're going to be doing a lot of this now on computers, various things can be happening all at once. It doesn't have to wait until next week and then we have another meeting in the meeting room to decide how many meetings we're going to have. Write down the rules. right? Simple things like, if the order is over £500, then send to manager for approval. These are what we call the if-then rules. If invoice is approved, then send payment notification to customer. These are your automation rules, and most of the workflow tools that are out there can easily implement these kinds of statements. We're now into step 4, data structure and integration. Determine what data needs to be captured. It may need to integrate with existing and new systems, so just think about that. If you're going to be putting new systems in place, do you need to bring the old system along, or are you going to scrap it? One of the ways that we do this is to simply think about a spreadsheet. Make yourself think about how you can get the information that you're finding or that you're working with into the simplest spreadsheet possible. If it won't fit, then you need to simplify it. If you start thinking like this, you'll be able to break more complex things down into simpler formats that you'll be able to handle. In step 5, we want to think about the user experience. Try to make it familiar, even though it's new. So similar kinds of layouts for the forms to input information. It doesn't have to be completely different and all bells and whistles and highly technical. Think about the people who are going to use it. What's the way that would make sense for them, and that would perhaps mirror the way that they do work as much as possible. And when you do that, you're reducing the change, the amount of change that people have to make in order to get even greater value with a lot less effort, which is always a good thing. Now, one of the things that helps us with this stage of our transformation is the 3-click rule. That anything that people need to do, can they do it in 3 clicks or less? If they can't, think about it again. Do you need to break it down into a couple of separate or different processes? 3 clicks or it's out. You won't always be able to squeeze every part of the process or every objective into 3 clicks, but it's a good goal, it's a good standard to try and work to. Step 6, the weekend test. What happens if this all breaks down on Friday? Who gets called? What will they do when they're called? Now this becomes the exception handling procedure. If you're looking for more information, you can go to some of these sources that we put on your screen. And of course, you can always get in touch with us, admin@DIGIVERTEX Limited. We're your guide to digital journeys.